We've got the Toyota Prius Prime.
We went to the launch. It's nice to have it on our own streets. We've got some thoughts. Have you got it in EV, Andrea?
I got it in EV. Here we go. Quiet, smooth, peppy.
Pretty peppy. We'll get into that in a second. Right now, what's under the hood of this Prius Prime?
A 2-liter 4-cylinder matched to an e-CVT with a combined 220 horsepower. It has a 13.6 kilowatt-hour battery. With the smaller wheels, you get up to 72 kilometers, 44 miles of range, and with the larger 19-inch wheels, 64 kilometers, 39 miles.
Unlike the regular Prius, the Prime is only sold with front-wheel drive. It gets up to 960 kilometers or 600 miles on a full tank and a full charge. Our hot topic, more than halfway through the video, is should you buy this or the regular Prius? So stick around for that. Right now we're going to get into the key standard features of the Prius Prime.
The base trim comes with a 7-inch driver display, an 8-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a 6-speaker audio system, cloth upholstery, smart key and push-button start, 6-way manual and heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, 17-inch wheels, and Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. In the US, heated front seats are not standard.
Andrea's already got it in EV mode. What else can we put it in?
Got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. So Andrea, we went to the launch of this for the Prius and the Prius Prime, but it's really nice to get it back and drive it on our streets. And what's your number one takeaway, the difference between having it for a few hours and having it for a few days?
Well, I think it's just the comfort level of the cabin. For me, I always had an issue with this digital driver display. I still don't love the look of it, but I've been able to figure out my seating position so that I can actually see the screen properly. I still don't see the full screen, but at least I can see the kilometers per hour or the miles per hour, which is great. If I see the full screen, I have to raise my seat. And if I'm making a left-hand turn, the windows are narrow and then I have to crouch down. So this has worked out well.
All right, so the bottom of the screen doesn't really have any information in it. It looks like it's a full circle, but there's no information back there.
It does have the kilometers there on the bottom.
You
and
mean
the range.
You mean your odometer. But yeah,
I can't see that.
But I love the seating position, and it is a quasi head-up display.
Yeah.
And once you get it set for where you want to sit, I think it's very readable. I'm with Andrea, though. The biggest takeaway for me driving this at home on our streets, and we live in the middle of the city, and you're always going through intersections, these A-pillars are really low. The rake of the windshield is quite drastic, and this A-pillar, you're always having to do this to see around corners.
Yeah, that was a real surprise to me because I never noticed that the first time around. So keep that in mind when you take this for a test drive. Another thing that I love is this center console. It sits up a little bit higher. I have gotten so good with this shifter. First time I used it was in the new NX and I called it quirky. Now I love it.
Goofy, quirky.
Oh, it's got like this sporty feel. I don't even have to look down to shift. I really like it. But what do we love, Zach? What do we love? What do you see here?
Buttons.
Buttons.
Real buttons.
Okay, you have got a button to put it in pure EV mode, a button to put it in hybrid mode, a button to charge the battery using the gas engine. Toyota has simplified this so well.
And
anybody can figure this out.
And there's other HVAC buttons. The one thing, I just want to go back to the visibility just for a second, Andrea. So the other part of the visibility story for me is the view out the back. It's quite shallow. Same thing, the rake of the rear window. And we're driving this in summer. We should get it back in the winter to see what it's like because there is no rear wiper. So visibility for me isn't optimal. You do adjust to most things, but please try all of this out before you put your order in and wait 2 years to get it.
And we asked Toyota on the launch event, why no rear wiper? And they didn't want to change the design of the back of this Prius to add a rear wiper. They also said that water does not pool that it slides off. So we would like to try it ourselves.
Yeah, water's
when
one
it's
thing.
raining here.
Snow is another.
Snow.
That's an issue.
Yeah. Another thing I like is that I can drive this in pure EV mode up to 135 kilometers an hour or 84 miles per hour.
Andrea, that is speeding.
That is
You are speeding.
But I'm on the highway. Let's just say I'm on a highway.
Still speeding.
I can do 140.
I'm going to call you Chrystia Freeland. That's an inside joke. If you're Canadian, that's a good joke.
No.
All right, let's move on to the outside of this thing. I think this is the best looking new product from Toyota we've seen in a while. It is sleek. It is sexy. It's a hybrid. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that we would call the Prius sexy and sleek? But you know what? It is, and you can add sporty to that. It gets up to 6 inches of ground clearance. It comes standard with LED headlights, LED taillights. I like the light bar in the back. Standard 17-inch wheels, available 19-inch, and a tire repair kit.
Well, we already had a little preview of the inside. I think that this is, nice materials. They did a fairly good job with that. I think that the big screen is welcome. I love the quasi head-up display. I'm quite pleasantly surprised. My favorite thing of this vehicle overall is the handling and the driving position. I think is great.
And the fuel economy.
Fuel economy.
Just amazing. I like the red accents in here, from the red ambient lighting to the red trim, and then the cool red on the seats. Reminds me a lot of the 40th anniversary 4Runner that just came out. I think it gives it a bit of a cool vibe in here. This is
I just want to show.
Yes.
This is, you got a dual sunroof with the shades, but it's easy to get both from the front seat. That's great.
And this is a fixed glass roof, but it's nice that they have the retractable sunshades. If you are interested in a solar charging sunroof, it is available in the US, not in Canada. It will cost you an extra $610 US, only available on the top trim.
That's not a bad idea. I could go without a sunroof and go solar, Andrea.
I think it's a great idea.
For $600, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. The seating position is good. Getting in and out of the vehicle is quite easy. Some have complained about the low roof line and the high belt line. Definitely try it out. It is a little bit different. It works fine for me. Zach, you don't have an issue either.
I find it low. I find that the roof is low. So, and I've got the torso of a giant. So getting in and out, you can crack your head. So what about the trims on this thing? We're in the top pimped out one. What's the one to get?
So moving up one from the base model opens you up to so many more features. The larger 12.3-inch touchscreen, a wireless charger, power driver's seat, soft text upholstery, the fixed glass roof, and heated rear seats. The top trim includes the JBL audio system, ventilated front seats, driver's seat memory, a power rear door, the panoramic view monitor, and digital rear view mirror.
Now in the United States, there are some differences. One up from the base model adds heated front seats, the soft text upholstery, a powered driver's seat, and a wireless charger. You can add a package to this trim to add the 12.3-inch touchscreen and the fixed glass roof. The top trim has similar features to what you get on our Canadian top trim. However, there are some features in the US that are optional, like heated rear seats and the panoramic view monitor. Even though this is a very sleek and slippery shape, when you get in the back seat, the rake of the seats is good, so you have plenty of headroom and good leg room, and I certainly do like that separate sunroof.
The Prime offers 42.4 inches of front row legroom, which is similar in size to the Honda Civic and the Toyota Corolla. Second row legroom at 35.9 inches is very close in size to the Kia Forte.
And then you lift, on this model anyway, the power rear liftgate, and you get a very functional cargo space because it is a lift back, and of course those back seats fold down and you get a ton of space.
The Prime offers 20.3 cubic feet of trunk space, which is similar to the Volkswagen GTI, very spacious.
Still to come. Should you get the Prime or the regular Prius? Stick around after this.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Love the new look. Just wonder why the Prime can't be had with all-wheel drive. That's a good question.
It's all about space in the back. You know, you need electric motor in the back, right?
Yep.
And they also need space for the larger battery over the regular hybrid. So you can have one or the other. You can have all-wheel drive or you can have a plug-in.
One or the other. That's your choice. What would be a better choice? Prius Prime XSE or base Toyota Crown XLE? For the 140 miles daily commute trips to work both ways, 90% highway. So this is obviously an American viewer using miles. But
That's
we'll
a long commute. How long is the commute?
Yeah, that's a long commute. 140 miles daily.
Wow.
90% highway.
Well, the thing is, just on that for a second, the plug-in's only going to give you, what is it? How many kilometers is it?
So up to 72 kilometers, 44 miles if you go with the smaller wheels.
So you're going to be using
17.
Hybrid most of the time anyway on that long a commute on the highway. So how much savings is there?
Well, I just feel that, most of the time when I get asked the question about long commutes and plug-in hybrids, I say get a hybrid. But with the Prime, this is such a special vehicle that the fuel economy, when the battery is depleted on this, is better than the Crown.
Yeah, but you could get the regular Prius and have all-wheel drive and have incredible fuel economy. So I would be shopping hybrid Prius versus Crown.
With all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But I also think on, let's say, Saturday and Sunday, maybe you are doing just city driving and you're staying within that range. You could actually bring the fuel economy down even more and save yourself at the pumps. And the Crown, you have to add a package to get the same features that are on the top trim Prime.
Which is what we're in.
Which is almost 54,000 Canadian.
Yeah, so for Americans, I don't know, it's a bit of a spreadsheet calculation.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems with electrified vehicles. You take the passion out of it and you put in this whole spreadsheet calculation and it becomes a little clinical. I say drive them both and buy the one you like.
Yeah, you could do that too. Absolutely. It's nice to see a refreshed Toyota hybrid lineup, but aren't the wait lists on these vehicles measured in years? Yes, typically that is true, but we've got some followers on Instagram who own a Prime, and they got it within 6 to 7 months in Canada. And one was in Ontario.
I think that some of this is what's happening is the orders are coming in. The person who ordered the car changes their mind, can't afford the interest rates, whatever it is. They got to sell it. So they just call up somebody and say, do you want it? So I don't think they're actually, getting to the front of the queue. I think that's what's going on, which isn't a bad thing to do, is go to your dealer and say, if someone cancels an order, call me. I'll be down today to pick it up.
All I can say is the wait times seem better than what we usually see with plug-in hybrids, and I think that is a good thing.
I got an email from a viewer in Quebec, and he has been waiting for a RAV4 hybrid, regular hybrid. He says the Prime, his dealer, is saying 27 months.
Wow.
27 months.
That's crazy.
There'll be a new one out by then.
Anyway, you know what? You're just going to have to check with your dealership and see how quickly they can bring it in. I've gotten some positive feedback on it, so that's a good thing.
You know what I do? I'd go to the sales manager and bring him a bottle of wine every week. Your Prime will show up quicker, I think. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Prius and cool in the same sentence? Who would have ever thought? But cool it is now. I'm wondering if it's worth going for the Prime front-wheel drive versus the all-wheel drive non-plug-in model.
So in Canada, if you go to the top trim of the regular Prius, it's the same as the middle trim of this Prime, the plug-in version. However, if you want to get all the features that are in this, you got to go to the top trim of the Prius. And that's where things get interesting. What happens in the Canadian market?
Well, with the Prime, you get the federal EV rebate of $5,000 in Canada, and that really brings that cost down. So top trim to top trim of the Prime and the Prius, you're going to pay $1,000 less for the Prime. And if you stay within that daily range, you're going to get, obviously, amazing fuel economy, a clean drive every day, and you will rarely visit the pumps.
So in the United States, it's a little bit less about the spreadsheet calculation and more about what you really want. If you go with a regular Prius, it is going to be less expensive. However, you're going to spend probably more in the long run on fuel. So the official fuel economy numbers are quite amazing. More on that in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. In Canada, the base trim starts at just over $41,000 and the top trim is just under $50,000. In the US, the base trim starts at just over $32,000 and the top trim is just over $39,000.
Interestingly, if you buy different size wheels, you get different range. Combined fuel economy goes from 1.8 liters equivalent per 100 kilometers to 2.1 liters equivalent. That's 127 miles per gallon equivalent up to 114 miles per gallon equivalent. When the battery is depleted, if you have the 17-inch wheels, you get a combined 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers. With the 19-inch wheels, it goes to 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers. That's 52 miles per gallon for the smaller wheels, 48 miles per gallon for the bigger wheels.
The Prime has a 3.5 kilowatt onboard charger, and with a level 1 charger, it will take about 11 hours to charge your vehicle, and with a level 2 charger, 4 hours.
In Canada, this Prime qualifies for the federal EV rebate of a full $5,000, plus incentives in participating provinces. There are no tax credits available in the United States. The warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers or 36,000 miles. In the United States, you get complimentary scheduled maintenance for 2 years or 25,000 miles. So you want a plug-in hybrid vehicle. They're not all cars. What else can you buy?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Kia Niro plug-in hybrid with a combined 180 horsepower and 55 kilometers, 33 miles of range. It has a starting price just over $40,500.
The Toyota RAV4 Prime with a combined 302 horsepower and 68 kilometers or 42 miles of range and a starting price just under $53,000.
The Hyundai Tucson PHEV with a combined 261 horsepower and 53 kilometers, 33 miles of range. It has a starting price just over $52,000.
The Mini Cooper Countryman plug-in hybrid with a combined 221 horsepower up to just 29 kilometers or 17 miles of range and a starting price just under $55,000.
So there are 4 plug-in hybrids for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like to see improved.
Amazing fuel economy.
It's a great handling vehicle.
What I'd like to see for the price point on this top trim at almost 50,000 Canadian, a power passenger seat.
They can't change it because of the structure. Visibility with these A-pillars, a little obscured.
Overall, Toyota did a great job with the Prime. I'm really impressed.
Sightlines, a little troubling. Try it out.